Hello, everybody, and welcome to Candid Conversations Boss Chick. Today's boss chick is Carol Terrell of Onyx Capital Enterprise. She is going to tell you about the qualitative mindset. So get your pen and paper ready and be ready to take notes. She has some very important information, and I'm really excited about her sharing her journey because I think that we can all relate to flexibility and resilience and just the journey of reaching the status of boss chick. So sit tight. And next up is Carol Terrell. Hey, but before we get to the interview, do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and remember to click the notification bell so you'll know every time we post or go live. Hi there, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm blessed, and welcome to Candid Conversations Boss Chicks. What I usually do is have the boss chick introduce herself and just let people know a little bit about yourself, and then our conversation will just kind of develop organically. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Carol Terrell, and I am the founder of Onyx Capital Enterprise. I'm a life coach as well as financial coach, but I kind of focus on the life coach aspect and incorporate several aspects into it. I've been doing this now for 10 years. Started out on the financial coach side, but found myself actually coaching my financial clients and then them rehiring me to coach them in the life coach aspect in relationship mindset and so forth. So I've recently incorporated that in May 2 years ago. The life coach aspect. So it's interesting, and actually, I'm finding ways to incorporate all things that I do on that life coach aspect side. With the qualitative mindset.
Awesome. Yes. And so before we get into, because I'm going to ask you about it, but before we get into it, I just wanted to clarify, like for my audience. So a lot of times we'll see the term or the title life coach. But I too, because I'm a life coach as well. And so I've learned that there are so many life coaches out there that you have to kind of clarify what your niche is. And
Okay.
so, no, I'm not, I'm just saying, so like I have decided, so you kind of figure out after, like you said, like people come to you and
hmm
they keep asking you about that. So, like my realm of expertise is relationships and love, and then balancing life and love, because I deal with entrepreneurial women who are busy, but they're not really, not all of us are trying to trade our careers for love. So learning how to balance life and love so we can have both is
Yeah.
really what I do. So
Okay.
you focus on money and the qualitative mindset. So I would like to know, what is a qualitative mindset? Like, how does that work? And how did you come up with that title or phrase?
So I came up with it actually. The more that I coach my financial clients and either entrepreneurs and people who are going into business or the corporate world, tapping into that quantity. All I would hear is quantitative. We need the quantity, quantity, quantity. So I would go in to some places and just talk to people and see how they worked. Just as an example, like Amazon warehouse being one of them, to see
Mhm.
how they work and why they're not meeting quantity. And it's because we're so
Mhm.
focused on the money aspect,
Mhm.
but the production of the quality that we're trying to put out is not there, because it's like, I need these millions, but
Right.
in order to get to the quantity, you're not producing quality for both the employees or the consumers.
Mm, and that is important. Yeah, so I totally understand that, and I agree with you. So we did talk about that. Um, actually probably extensively when we talked before, just quality over quantity. And so why does it matter? Why does quality matter? Like how do you, if they're looking for money and they're looking for production, why is quality the difference?
Well, so what I'm seeing is, and for me, even as a consumer or someone, even if I hired you as a life coach, I want you to focus on the quality of what you're giving me so that I can be a better person. So,
Yes.
like using Amazon as an example, when you think of Prime Day and they're getting those products
Mhm.
out. And sometimes, I don't know if you've ever shopped where you say, okay, I'm looking for this item in a day or two, but then it's a delay. You get a delay
Mhm.
that you're not going to get it. Is because in their, like in the machines and the robots, like they're putting products in pods that do not belong. They're too big. So on the way
Mhm.
out, they're being damaged. So a
Okay.
lot of times people will ship out the damaged products just to get it out, or if it's so damaged because you couldn't get it out, now the customer is delayed. So now it prohibits that quantity, both money wise and production wise, for the people to get it out because of the quality of what you're doing with your they're robots. So you have all these
Okay.
products, but if they're not properly put in, set up the right way, if they're shoved in there, if they're stacked too much, it's the quality of what you're presenting on the inside is what creates the quantity and the movement of what goes on the outside to, in a timely fashion to the customers, but also your employees being able to meet their time frames because they have time frames or units that they have to meet as well.
Okay. And so, because I know you work with individuals, so it would depend on what the individual need is. But I'm
Correct.
curious with that example that you gave, with the
Mhm.
robots and things being in the wrong size, what would be a solution for that?
Well, over there, and I'll use them as an example. Over there, they have training, and the thing is, the training
Okay.
is a computer training, but is
Okay.
the computerized training quality because everyone can't,
Mm.
just look at a video. You have different learners,
Right.
so they might run through these videos, quickly and don't understand. Whereas, some people need hands on, but it literally
Right.
tells you to stack items straight up and down, side by side. They're laying them in there, they're stuffing them in there. Stuff is everywhere, and once you keep, like, if you have smaller items on the bottom and you
Mhm.
stacking heavy items on the top, alone just to get the heavy item out to get to the smaller items takes how much time?
Yeah.
Depending on,
It takes time.
so it's like it's really a corporate issue, and that's the direction. Like when I told you, I'm leaning into working in that area to help
Yes.
corporate, the owners and the CEOs and so forth to understand these processes and what you can do to create a better um, you know um, means of training or whatever that is so that you can meet the quantitative needs. People are going to make money, but think of this: if you produce more quality, then your quantity will increase. You wouldn't be losing money, you wouldn't be having customers,
Right.
so all of those things. And it's the same, like, and I know you understand, like you said, relationship coach, it's still quality because what goes
Yeah.
on in here? What goes
Yeah.
on in here? So if they're not receiving what you're trying to give them because they're so set on what used to be, or this is what I'm used to, or this is what I've seen, that's a learned mindset. If you're not willing to uh, be adaptable and go into a growth mindset, it's like change the ingredient of what's not working. If it didn't work, then I should be willing to change something that's not working to get a better result.
Absolutely. And so, are you planning to do this all on your own, or are you developing a team? Because it
I
seems like
am
a big task.
I'm definitely gonna need to develop a team because, like I said, you and I talked previously, and so when I
Mhm.
started out, I was, in the doing my financial coaching, and I still needed a team. So I had a few contractors working with me, but they were
Okay.
just kind of handling paperwork because
Mhm.
the clients just like always wanted me. Nope, we want her for the coaching. Nope, we don't. And so just trying to wean any current clients from that and help them understand that I'm building a qualitative team. I speak about quality, so I'm not going to present
Right.
just myself. Everything connected would have to be quality. So I will be hiring in a team. I am doing a lot of digital, transitioning to a lot of digital for personal,
Yes. Mhm.
people, so they can still be able to utilize that. Instead of me just giving them a digital course, I will have my voice on it as if I was actually coaching them. So
Oh, okay.
they feel more like, okay, I hear her, she's still there, but they won't see me. They'll just hear
Yeah.
my voice with the digital courses, giving them the same as what I would do one on one when we were on Zooms.
Okay. That makes sense. And so,
Mhm.
how quickly are you trying to develop a team?
Um, Very quickly. So, literally, after today, probably this first week in August, all the digital stuff will start rolling out. I've
Okay.
already reached out to some people that have been wanting to come onto the team and so forth. So, like I said, I'm gonna start out with contractors first, as
Mhm.
opposed to employees, because I have a few contractors that have been with me and know
Oh,
exactly what's
okay.
going on. So it's
Yeah.
easier since they already know, and I could just say,
Yeah.
"Hey, I need you to do this," or here you have this, and while I'm actually going to be creating a training platform for
Okay.
employees, so that
Okay.
they can do that same digital training and so forth, and have me too on the side when they need to, because again, it's all about quality for me,
Yes.
as opposed to quantity. I really want to make sure the qualitative aspect of my employees and the contractors mindsets are there,
Mhm.
not just making it about money, because I realize that when we focus a lot more on our employees, they produce better. When you're actually paying attention to,
Yes.
I look at body language. I can see somebody and say, "Oh, they having a bad day." They may
Mhm.
not talk, "I'm good,"
Right.
but you can. I'm sure you've experienced.
Yes.
When somebody's going through something. But you think about when you were in corporate, or we worked in those places, when your actual bosses didn't even pick up on it. They didn't care. But
They didn't care.
right.
Yeah.
But your work day, if you're having a bad day and you haven't mirror checked yourself, guess what? That bad day that you're having is going to affect your work productivity. Your mind is all over the place, because whatever you came in with issues on your mind, that's on your mind. It's like, oh my God, everybody that
Mhm.
say the wrong thing to you, you're responding in a way. And so it's really about the quality of your whole your business, everything in
Yeah.
it. I want a quality, safe place. I want people to have a safe place
Absolutely.
and understand that, hey, it's not just about quantity. Quantity is going to come when everybody's on board. When you
Right.
self-checking and making sure, hey, we're a team, and we check ourselves at the door. Whatever issues came on the outside, leave them outside, because at the end of the day, we need to work qualitative and as a team to produce.
Yes. And you know what's interesting? So this is a little bit personal, but when my daughter was in the hospital, we were at, well, now it's called Lurie Children's, but it was called Children's Memorial Hospital back
Hmm.
then. And I came in touch with, in contact with so many people that were just pleasant and helpful. And it was a whole hospital and a whole, and I was trying to figure out who is the hiring team because they're doing an amazing job. Like, what is it that they find in people? Because you can hire people because they have an amazing interview, and then a few months in, they're a whole different person. And so I was just, I mean, I admire what you are doing, and I wonder if that's part of your plan to. I mean, I don't know what that is, like to make
Hmm.
sure you hire the right employees, going beyond that interview, like what those questions are that they ask or anything. But if that's on your agenda, I think that's excellent.
Yeah. Then one of the things is, I don't know, and I know you've taken, usually when you have, like, I'll say with customer services, and they say, oh, you have to take these tests, and the test they take is kind of like a psychological. They ask you the
Yeah.
question in reverse. I'm not going to say they're a waste of time. I just think the way that the approach I want to do is personality,
Mhm.
tests. Like, they have those
Okay.
personalities. So I know if you're an introvert, an extrovert, what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are. Just because you have a degree, or you come into job with a specific skill, um, most people think about when they start college or midway through, they start with one thing and then they say, oh, I want to change to this. It's
Yeah.
still kind of like that. I experienced people saying, well, I went to college for this, but now I don't want to do this. So they take a
Mhm.
job in a position because they have a degree, but they really
Right.
don't want to do it. So if you have a personality test on not just the employees, on the CEOs, the owners and stuff, and think of projects when they're put together, now you know who works best together. If somebody's an introvert, do they go here or that to get this product done? And it's kind of on that Lean Six Sigma platform I
Hmm.
told you that the government uses, and that's for waste management. It's really for production in companies where people are doing cars, building cars, or Amazon. But you can use that with employees because you can better see who fits on the team or who fits here. You can cross say, hey, maybe let's quarterly or every 6 months cross train people. You
Hmm.
never know when
Yeah.
somebody gets sick and then you're like, oh, we got to get a temp. And no, if you ask
Yeah.
employees and find out their weaknesses and strengths, then utilize it. And you'll see that if you do that, you're giving them opportunities to work in different areas. That makes
Hmm.
them happy. They get a little bit of a change, but you see better production.
Yes. And two, I've also learned, and I've heard it's like a quote or something, and I don't know it exactly, but basically, an employee who feels appreciated will typically go above and beyond what's expected. And so,
Absolutely.
like, to make it feel like home, or like you said, a safe space. That's one of my go-to phrases because I think that that's important. I think that that helps a lot. So now, what is the name of your company, or have you named it yet?
So I have the company is Onyx Capital Enterprise. So I'm going
Onyx.
to keep that, but the digital side is just Carol Terrell. So it's like the website and
Okay.
stuff will be carolterrell.com, slash
Okay.
Podia, but that's where I'll do the digital. But Onyx will always stay around because that's the aspect of the financial side. So I still help
Mhm.
businesses build their business plans and their 3 to 5
Okay.
year projections. I still help them understand the proper platform to securing
Mhm.
business credit and not running from
Okay.
personal credit. I
Got it.
still help them with personal credit. So that part has to stay. I'll make the digital courses on that, but people will still book me. People who need me and say, hey, I need to have you here one on one,
Mhm.
or, for 6 months, we'll still do that. But I have the two websites that'll land together, Onyx Capital,
Oh,
and then
okay.
where they can see the landing buttons to go over for the digital courses for small businesses, corporation, and then just
Okay.
personal, people who are thinking about becoming entrepreneurs, may be scared,
Mhm.
need, to see, hey, what that looks like properly, building your business and scaling it properly, because
Mhm.
many of us cut corners. I mean, I was somebody that cut corners, and that's how I learned everything that I learned. Is like, okay, thank God, even though I cut corners, I was able to secure
Yeah.
business credit. But now with all the changes, you're not securing business credit like you really thought you
Yeah.
could because
Yeah.
of all the COVID and all the fraud. Now these banks want to see 3 million in revenue, or they want to look at your personal credit. So just really
Yeah.
helping people get that together and not cut corners.
Got it.
So
Okay.
I try to keep both businesses are tied together.
Okay. So that was going to be my next question. So
Mhm.
they can go to either one, and they will be able to reach you. So
Correct.
carolterrell.com or Onyx Capital.
Yep. Or onyxcapitalenterprise.com.
Okay. Okay. Was there anything else you wanted to add before I ask, my famous question?
The only thing I always just tell people or say, like you run your business and I run my business, and just if you're out there in business or even in your household, just period. If the head of a thing, and that's whether that's a man or you're single and you're in the house by yourself, if the head of a thing, if it's the head of the house or the business is not right, then the foundation collapses. So when
Mhm.
I talk about that qualitative mindset, it's like if you're operating in a busy mindset, it's not a productive mindset. It's not you're not thinking, because you're like, oh, it's so much busy, but that's usually people who are masking issues that are going on right now. So they need to stay busy. So, try to focus on, hey, the busiest, hey, I get that to God. Like, Lord, that's your
Mhm.
battle. I need
Yeah,
to be
work smart.
productive in a qualitative way.
Okay. So if I'm hearing you correctly, to break down the busy mindset is really just about filling your plate up and just having a lot to do. And versus the qualitative mindset is categorizing, organizing, making sure that is you're getting to the root of it.
And
Is it
creating.
and creating. Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right. Awesome. I'm trying to think. I feel like we talked way longer before the interview.
Yeah.
Like we just talked about a lot. Let me look at my notes right quick and see if there's anything. Because you did talk about the female's brain. So do you specialize in working with women?
Yes. So we talk about because we operate out of emotions. And a lot of women be like,
Mhm.
it's not no what you're saying. I'm like, it is. We operate out of emotion. I've been single raising my kids. So then that brings upon a sense of control. And you have
Mhm.
to make sure things are running accordingly and the kids are doing this. But then when you finally get in a relationship, you don't know how to relinquish the control.
The control. Yeah.
Because you're so used to doing all of this, and then when you actually married or you have that person that's saying, hey, I got this, we pull back, and it's like it's this controlling um
It's an
sense of spirit that
adjustment.
we don't know when that control needs to be separated from the actual relationship and just utilized in other situations. So just things like that just really helping women understand, be prepared for your Boaz. But what work are you doing, for God to send that person to you? And it is in our minds, previous relationships. Have you really healed from someone who hurt you before you jump into something else? And then this person is automatically being penalized for somebody else's hurt to you.
Mistakes.
So
Mhm.
just really trying to get us as women to just have that do the work, do the work, and then create a qualitative mindset. And if you're actually still hurt and not ready, let's talk about it. Let's create some strategies. Let's do some things to help you get rid of what happened. It's gone, it's over with. It doesn't mean the next person is that person, but also, are you setting expectations? I don't use the word standards, because I tell people, if you're setting standards, are you able to meet those same standards? And many people
Mhm.
say, oh, well, I didn't think of it like that. No, set ask, what are you expecting from this person? What are
Yeah.
they expecting of you? But don't set standards. Oh, your credit score needs to be 850, but yours is 500. Like, you can't expect something,
Yeah.
because you behind the scene, you want to be with this person that has this, but you're really not revealing that you haven't even met those standards yourself. So, but you
Mhm.
can have expectations, hey, I expect if we're going to be here, we share bills, or whatever that is, or,
Mhm.
so just helping women understand with the female mindset, we have so many different hormones. And
Yes.
like those hormones, when they trigger, and I'm sure you experience, I just experienced this weekend, but I sit down and be like, Lord, not
Yeah.
today, but it's like we have to learn how to figure out what hormone what you're dealing with right now, because we're very emotional.
Mhm.
So all of that emotion coming out. And then I also talk to the men. It's a book on email, Amazon, The Female Brain, and then it has a little
Okay.
version of the male brain. They don't
Mhm.
operate like us. Like they
Right.
know that we love them by the way we speak to them. We
Mm.
look for them to be like us, gushy, compassionate, and they just not like, they try, but it doesn't mean they don't love you. Like
Mhm.
they just the testosterone. Their brains operate differently. They were raised to not be weak. They were raised to not be these like, oh, don't, you better not be crying. So of course
Mhm.
they are strong. They don't talk. They don't communicate as well. But when you learn each other's love language, and you deal in a relationship. So I like
Yeah.
love languages are very important. You learn
Yes.
that, then you can better um, coexist together. But it's also
Absolutely.
big when a man can really understand a female, because they do get frustrated with us. Oh my God, like you're complaining, you're crying, but they don't understand all these different hormones and
Yeah.
estrogens and LA say everything that's being produced at any given time. We could
Mhm.
just have this emotional breakdown, or we could just this mood swing, and it's not intentional. It's just we have a lot of different hormones going on. And when they understand that, and we understand their brain, and
Yeah.
truly say, okay, now I know what's going on, let me give them 5 minutes, or let me give her 5 minutes,
Right.
things might be able to communicate a little better. And it's even when the
Yeah.
men go out to work. I tell women, just because they come in and they don't bum rush you at the door, or they don't respond the way you
Right.
want, it doesn't mean something's going on. It means they just had to go out, fight the world. Many of my clients say they're working jobs that they don't even desire to work, but they need to provide for the family. So now
Well,
they
yeah.
had to go out and fight the world, find a
Yes.
job they really don't care to be at. So that side of the brain needs to wind down when they come home so that they
Yeah.
can now operate this relationship. Because everything we do, everything we put our hands to is a relationship. When I cook my food, that's a relationship because I want it to taste a certain way. I want it to be filled with love. So when we start thinking everything that we do, if you think of what do I want to get out of this relationship, then you're going to
Hmm.
put more into getting the return of that result that you want. I mean, if I need to change this ingredient to get a better result of what I'm
Right.
asking for, then that's what I have to be willing to do.
Yep, absolutely. I agree. Well, we could talk forever about the life coaching thing. So I just want to, go ahead and ask you in your own words, what makes you a boss chick?
I'll say now what makes me a boss chick is the ability to be adaptable to sudden change. So I mean, like I used
Mm,
to, man, be all over the place, emotions, attitudes. So now that I've really said, you know what, I just want to produce quality for each and in my friendships and relationships and business
okay.
and
Yeah.
partnerships. So I use that platform, the ability to be adaptable to sudden change. If it happened right in front of me, how am I adapting so
Mhm.
that I'm communicating, so or making sure that that relationship is some self-standing, or when I understand that a relationship was short term and it needs to go. So I just say a boss chick is someone who can adapt suddenly, even when you're going through, even when you're sad, even when
Yeah.
you feeling broken. You
Mhm.
put the toolkit. Our parents left us with a toolkit, we just never have used it. I could
Have
pull
to
out my
open up the
screwdriver.
box.
Yep, that, and I could pull out that screwdriver and say, "Oh, this situation going. Let me tighten this screw up so I can keep it moving in a positive and productive way."
I like that. Be able to adapt. Would you say immediately?
To be able to adapt to sudden change.
Sudden change. Okay, yes, that's good. That's resilience, adaptability, flexibility. That's a lot going on right there.
Yeah,
Okay, I like that. So, I really appreciate you being here. And I do want people to contact you at carolterrell.com and Onyx. I keep messing that up.
it's
Onyx
it's
Capital
Onyx
Enterprise.
Capital. Yep. OnyxCapitalEnterprise.com is open. So just so they know, like, I'm in transition. So the
Yeah.
carolterrell.com is up there, but that platform is being transitioned over. So
Okay.
probably sometime after today or tomorrow, the reconstruction of that, and then they'll go reconstruct the Onyx Capital
Okay.
page, because I have to have something up, but it's
Right. So
Onyx
somebody can
Capital.
contact you.
Yeah, onyxcapitalenterprise.com or carolterrell.com, or they can just look on Instagram at onyx_capital_enterprise. And then that one will stay in place. I don't do any promoting of business. I do more posting of positivity, or, stuff like that, trying to
Oh,
keep
I see.
people, in a safe place daily.
Got it. And so you can leave some words of wisdom or advice for an aspiring boss chick. So I just the mindset that I have, or the platform that I have, is I really like boss chicks who are willing to share their journey, share some strategies, and just encourage other women who are trying to build their business. They may just be getting started, or they may be stuck, or anything like that. So, do you have any words of encouragement or words of wisdom for an aspiring boss chick?
Yes, what I say is always be authentic. Be your authentic self. Be bold in your story. Don't be ashamed of your story. I People like can't believe where I came from. So it's like, you just be bold in your story. Your audience, they want authenticity. They want to know that you've gone through a thing, especially when you're in business and you're saying, "Hey, I created this product or this because I went through it," but you actually didn't. So be bold in that thing. Speak your story proudly, because I've been through the gutter and the glory. See, those are the words I
Yeah.
say. Hey, I didn't see gutter and glory, but you have to go through a thing to grow through a thing. It's not to make you look bad. It's just the wisdom comes with that, and you can better
Yes.
empower other women and people. When you said, "I've gone through that," now if I can save you from going through it, this is what these are the
Yes.
tools and strategies. So be bold and where you come from, and because where you come from is actually for God's glory. It's like for him to reach
Mhm.
somebody to say, "Hey, man, you sometimes you don't even have to say something to somebody. They'll walk right up to you, Asia, and be like, man, this a boss chick, like the light on her. And as
Oh,
it's how you present. When you present, the masses come to you. You don't even have to chase the masses. When you actually are walking in your true authenticity, you walk in rooms and wonder why people are gravitating to you just because you say one thing, and it's like, oh my God, because that's your true authenticity. You're not afraid of it. And be passionate, just you're chasing your passion. A lot of people are like, I'm chasing purpose. No, your purpose,
hmm.
you chase what you're passionate about, because when you chase passion, you're going to deliver qualitative results. That thing
Hmm.
doesn't change. If you're so passionate about that thing, even when it's not looking good, you're going to keep chasing that thing till you get that result out there to the people who need it.
Yes, absolutely. There was something else I wanted to say. I don't know. I just
Mm,
I do I admire your story and your journey. And we didn't really spend a lot of time actually on your story or your journey. So I mean we've been talking for 30 minutes, but if you'd like to go ahead and share that, because I do think that just your story alone is a witness to
mm-hmm,
people, like it gives them the inspiration. So I think that I love the words that you're using. I love authentic self and passion and all of those things. And I think that those are amazing. But I think sometimes people actually want to hear just a little bit about you
mm-hmm.
to connect personally. So I'm going to give you the floor and just get, share some of the things that you share with me about, your humble beginnings, I'll say.
Okay. Well, like I said, I got into finance because prior to finance, I was in the medical field 30 years, worked at Children's Memorial. So when you said
Okay.
that, I was like, oh, that was my favorite hospital. But single mom, I have three daughters. I have, two grown daughters and one is in starting senior year. But being a single mom and trying to make it, with, whatever income you have, I ended up being homeless, not once, but twice. I
Mhm.
don't even think I told you that story. So
No.
right, so that's the story. So I was
Okay.
homeless with my two older girls, who were ranked in basketball. They were in high school. We were sleeping, like I would drive them to school, sleep in the car across the street, wait for them to get out of school,
Oh my.
just and
Yeah.
they were still maintaining their honor grades, playing sports, ranking in the nation, top levels, barely sleeping and everything. So
Oh wow.
that, like, I started out with that, but then I had my second daughter and ended up with her dad, and just bad situation, and he ended up being with somebody else,
Okay.
putting us out the house. So now I'm homeless again with my youngest daughter,
Oh
because
man. Yeah.
it's such a big gap. But because of that, I said, my mindset started saying, I want to help. It started out family and friends. I want to help people never be financially homeless. Like,
Got it.
when you
Yes.
get to a point where you live in robbing Peter to pay Paul, you're actually financially homeless. Like, and so what do
Mhm.
we do so you don't become to the point where I was homeless? And
Yeah.
then the car that we were sleeping in ended up getting taken. So now,
Oh, now
so
you're really, really
yeah,
homeless.
so that
Oh,
thing it put something in me. And I
mm,
when I'm gonna be very honest, I could have went to my mom's house, I could have went to my sister's house, and I have family that would have taken me in. The thing is, the family wasn't the reason I was homeless, so I was not going to go and stay in a family's house that stay as long as you want. We get real comfortable and really lazy when you're
mhm,
somewhere and they allow you to keep staying. So I needed to stay out so I could make some things happen. And from that, when I started making stuff happen and rebuilding my credit and so forth, it just made me boss up. I'm a
yeah,
mother, but with that, my two oldest girls are like bossing it up. Like, they run businesses, they work jobs, because they was like, oh, if we didn't see nothing else, we saw her like overcome, but
yeah,
also keep them encouraged, to,
yeah,
hey, this is not something bad or makes you look bad, or don't be afraid to say we were homeless. They talk about that story. It's nothing wrong with being that, because again, that's why I say from gutter to glory, because God said that
mhm,
that was intentional. Because to
mhm,
whom much is given, much is required. Now let me see what you're gonna do with that. Let me see you pick your
yes,
stuff up. But now let me see who you're gonna go back and reach for and help and pour
absolutely.
into, and let them know your story.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, I appreciate you sharing that, and I really do think that that will touch somebody and give them just, a little bit of a nudge and the inspiration that they need. And then also they know that they can contact you too. So I think
Yes.
that that's putting them in a good spot. So I want to thank you for being on Boss Chicks today.
Thank you.
Do you remember who referred you?
It was Jade Calhoun.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're going to thank Jade Calhoun. She's been doing an amazing job referring people. I think you might be the third person that
Oh,
she's
I love
referring. So
Jade.
thank you,
Yeah.
Jade.
Yeah.
She was also, well, she's going to be on season 9 of Boss Chicks.
I thought
So
I missed her because clicked on something you tagged me in, and I was like, "Oh, I missed all these people," So I saw you. I had her up there, but I thought I had already missed her.
yes. Well, so the way that is, well, okay, we're going to talk after.
Okay.
Let's close out. Thank you everybody for watching
Thank
this
you.
episode of Boss Chicks, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. So
Bye
hold tight.
bye.
Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Boss Chicks. Remember to tune in on Monday evenings at 7:30 p.m. where the Girl Talk panel discusses relationship questions. Also, I have a book on Amazon called End of Silent Suffering where I teach you how to survive a relationship with a narcissist. I also have a love course, an online course that you can take at any time. Hey, I love having you here, so I'll see you next week on Boss Chick.